Store-bought almond milks are trash, but the problem is using a blender with a nut milk bag is a time-sucking hassle, and most plant milk makers make almond milk so gritty, it's like drinking flavored sand water. But could this machine actually fix that? In this Nama M1 milk maker review, I'll reveal what actually makes the M1 different, if it's barista quality or just a sleek blender with a big price tag, and if it can really save you money over time. There's one thing that makes the Nama M1 stand out from other milk makers. While the industry was pushing glorified blenders, Nama went back to the drawing board. They invested millions in creating something totally different, and you've probably never seen this before. Heck, I've been using plant milk makers for over 2 years and I've never seen this before. And when I say totally different, I mean thicker, creamier almond milk that doesn't just taste like almond flavored water. So what is this one thing that makes the M1 stand out from the rest? Before I reveal what that is, let's unbox it in 3, 2, 1. First out, we got the 1 liter container. It looks pretty standard, but the lid actually doubles as a measuring cup for convenience. It also has a rubber gasket, so you can get an airtight seal when storing your milks in the fridge, where they're gonna last about 3 days. Next is the motor base. This thing is a powerhouse and spins up to 10,000 rotations per minute, so you don't wind up wasting half blended almonds, oats, or cashews. On the front is an LED screen that lights up when the M1 is turned on. The display combined with a single on-off button makes this machine stupid simple to use. Next is the pitcher. Inside this pitcher is going to be a filter basket. This removes a lot of the pulp and grit that you don't want in your drink. Inside this basket is a 3-spine blender cage. These edges catch the pulp from the machine. And the M1 comes with a silicone mat, which might not look like much at first, but I'll show you why this thing is a game changer later. There's also a large cleaning brush, and if you look at the recipe book, you'll see this thing is wildly versatile. You can make everything from basic almond milk to black sesame seed milk and matcha protein balls. But for most people, they probably just want to keep it simple to start. So let's start by testing the M1 with a simple almond milk recipe. Using the lid, I measured 1 cup of raw almonds. Then I added 4 cups of filtered water, which was easy thanks to the measurement marks on the side. Then I put about 2 pitted dates and a pinch of salt. Nama recommends a ratio of 1 cup nuts, seeds, or grains to 3 to 4 cups of water. The less water, the more thicker the consistency that you're gonna get. Now, notice I didn't soak the almonds before using them. Unlike the other milk makers out there, the M1 doesn't require any soaking, which is a huge time saver. Why? The M1 has a more powerful motor and durable blades, so it can blend everything easily without soaking. If you don't soak with the other machines, they give you a more watery result and leave large chunks of unprocessed almonds. Now, with everything loaded up, you just select the time. For harder nuts like almonds, you just stick with 1 minute as the default blend time, but for softer ingredients like cashews or oats, you just turn the knob to 30 to 45 seconds. Then once you're done, you hit the start button. Once the machine finishes its blend cycle, it tells you to open the spout. Then it counts down backwards from 10 and does something that no other machine on the market does. Remember how I was talking about the one thing that makes this plant milk maker stand out? Well, this is where the magic happens. The M1 is the only nut milk maker with a motor that is bi-directional. After it finishes blending, the M1 spins in the other direction at 2,000 rotations per minute. This pulls the liquid away from the almond pulp even more. It also uses shear force to homogenize and perfectly mix the almond milk. But does this actually give you a creamier, thicker, better tasting result? Well, after taking my first sip, this is what I noticed. It's rich. This wasn't the watery disappointment I was used to from the other milk makers. The flavor was clean and distinctly more almond, with a creamy, frothier, velvety texture that you just simply don't get from store-bought milks or other machines. But what about the grit? I'm sure you don't want it to feel like you're drinking sand water, right? Well, before I talk about that, check this out. Look at the pulp. It's bone dry, almost crumbly. Much better than the goopy pulp you get using a Vitamix or Almond Cow or Nutter machine. But what exactly does that mean? Wet pulp means you're getting less milk. Over time, that adds up, and wasting almonds is like wasting money. So the M1 will help you save more in the long run. And if at any point you're thinking about getting the M1, there's a link in the description to help you save even more money. I'll keep that updated with the best discount on the internet. Now, it would be an absolute crime if we didn't try one of these specialty milk recipes from the recipe book. Whoa, okay, this one looks insane. So we've got a half cup of cashews, half cup of pistachios, 2 teaspoons of matcha, 2 pitted dates, 1 teaspoon vanilla, pinch of sea salt, and 4 cups of water. I'm just gonna load everything up, and now let's fire it up using a 1-minute cycle. Same deal, delicious, far from watery. The only thing I wish I added was 1 more date, and then I think the flavor would have been absolutely perfect. Otherwise, it's a solid 9 out of 10 here. Now, instead of tossing the pulp out, we're gonna do something special with it. If you wanna store the pulp for later, you just put it inside this mat, fold it up, and stick it in the fridge. But you know what? I'm feeling ambitious today, so let's make some matcha protein balls. We need 1 cup of pulp, a half cup of coconut flakes, 4 to 5 dates, 2 teaspoons of matcha, a 1/4 cup of coconut oil, shredded coconut, and vanilla protein powder. I'm just gonna toss everything into the food blender, blend it up. So here's what I got. I got this like thick consistency here. What I'm gonna do is roll these into balls, stick them in the fridge, and just leave them there for about an hour. And here's the final product. Let's see how it tastes. Yup, this is way better than any protein bar I've tasted, and it makes Quest bars taste like cardboard. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. The best part is these will last up to 5 days in the fridge. So we're done making our plant milks. We've got our protein balls. Can you guess what's next? Clean them. Now look, I hate cleaning as much as the next guy, but the good news is thanks to the self-clean feature on this thing, it only takes about 2 minutes. All you have to do is put some soapy water in the top, make sure the lid's on and the spout is closed, and then you just run the machine. Next, you just remove the parts and you rinse them under some water. So cleaning is looking pretty easy right now, but that's only if you clean it immediately after. You can't afford to be lazy with this thing. If you set the M1 aside for 2 to 3 hours, the pulp is gonna dry and get stuck to it like glue, and then you're gonna have to do some intense scrubbing. So cleanup isn't entirely effortless, but the self-clean feature makes it slightly better. But listen, I'd be lying to you if I told you that this nut milk maker was perfect. There are some small quirks that you're definitely gonna wanna know about before buying this machine. And the first one was almost a deal breaker for me. I figured the M1 would be like every other plant milk maker I've tried, promising silky smooth results, but delivering almond water with a side of sand. And when I poured the first batch in my glass, I noticed something. Near the bottom were these tiny orange particles. So this is the skin from the almonds. What I did was I handed it to the pickiest person I know, my girlfriend. 1 sip and she goes, wow, this is really creamy. I waited for her to say something about the grit and she didn't. That's when I realized the grit is so minimal that most people probably won't even notice or care. And compared to the machines I've tested, like the Almond Cow, the M1 definitely has less grit. And when I used the M1 with pistachio and cashew milks, it was like virtually 0. The only time I noticed grit was with almond milk. So the M1 isn't as smooth as using a nut milk bag, but it's the closest thing we've got. And for me, trace amounts of grit weren't a deal breaker, but I figured I'd just let you know. Now, here's something that might actually be a deal breaker, but only if you're a soy milk person. The M1 doesn't have a built-in heating element, which means making soy milk becomes a 2-step process. You'll need to cook the soybeans separately before using the machine. So yeah, it's not the most seamless option for soy, but if you don't drink soy milk like me, then it's not a deal breaker. Okay, so now you know the M1 isn't perfect, but after using it for 30 days, I think it's as close to perfect as you can get. The lid acts like a measuring cup, so you don't need one. It isn't hard to put together. The LED display tells you exactly what you need to do and when to do it. There's only 1 button for start stop, so it's stupid simple. There's no soaking, and the entire process takes about 2 minutes. The truth is, the M1 simplifies making nut milk at home more than any other machine I've used. And if you've ever tried any nut milk makers in the past, then you know just how frustrating it is when your almond milk tastes like water. With the Almond Cow or Nutter, you get much more grit and watery results. The M1's power combined with the bi-directional motor system gives you a thicker, less gritty, creamier taste. I honestly believe that the milk quality from this thing is just better on all levels. And for most people, this is probably going to be the #1 reason to buy it. Store-bought almond milk only contains about 2% almonds. That means 98% of the carton is just water, stabilizers, gums, added oils, preservatives, and sweeteners. With the M1, you decide exactly what goes into your milk. If you or your kids have a dairy allergy or don't want to drink crap chemicals and conservatives, it really is a no-brainer. You're in full control of the ingredients, you control the water to solid ratio, and you can create gourmet milks that aren't easily found in supermarkets. Now, if you're watching this, there's a good chance you probably own a Nama J2 or a Vitamix, and you might be torn about getting the M1. So you can make nut milks with those machines, but it's harder to stay consistent because the hassle of soaking your almonds overnight or using a nut milk bag just isn't worth it. And while you can use a juicer, you still need to strain it, and it takes more almonds to get the same creaminess as the M1, so it becomes even more expensive over time. I kind of look at it like this. The first option is to do nothing, but then I'd probably slip back into buying store-bought milks, and I'd spend tons of money on overpriced almond flavored water that I secretly know might be poisoning me over time. Or get the Nama M1 milk maker. And yeah, it's more expensive than the other plant milk makers, but it comes with a 15-year warranty while the others don't. If you spread that across 15 years, that's $27 per year. And I calculated that if I made 2 batches of almond milk per week, I'm saving about $208 per year with the M1. Now, if you make soy milks, maybe it's not the right machine for you, but if you drink almond or oat or cashew milk, I really can't think of a reason not to get this. It's creamy, has less grit, it tastes better, there's no chemicals, additives, or preservatives, and you'll save money over time. And if you want to save even more money, check out the link in the description below. I'll update it with the best discount on the internet.